So my grandfather was a General Baptist pastor for 60 years. And by the time I was 15, I knew that I was going to follow in his footsteps. By the time I was 18, I became a youth minister. By the time I was 23, I was ordained. And for 7 years after that, I senior pastored the church that I grew up in.
This is my wife, Bishop Angie. She's an Archbishop in the Liberal Catholic Church International for the province of Great Britain and Ireland. And she's Commissary Bishop for Europe and Israel. In 2014, we were the first same-sex couple locally to upgrade, our 2007 civil partnership to marriage. I met Jerry at FIGT last year. When he mentioned his church, I was instantly wary. With headlines like these, you learn to not out yourself to Christians until you know what flavour they are. I liked him, but he was still a Baptist, so I continued to use gender-neutral pronouns when referring to my spouse.
But it slipped out. And so I asked for a mercy umbrella, which simply means this. Hey, I'm a recovering Baptist pastor, and so let's just assume that whatever I say next is probably going to come out wrong. So can we just start with mercy? And we did. And we went deep for 4 hours. It was intense. Everything was on the table. We talked about God and faith and politics and sexuality, and it was awkward and weird and rich and so good because on the very first night that we met, we laughed and cried like we'd been friends forever.
Jerry didn't talk of love the sinner, hate the sin, or offer to pray for me, which can often feel like a veiled judgment of pray away the gay. He was a refreshing change. He listened. He genuinely listened. He didn't apologise for his faith either, and he didn't need to, but he did say he was sorry. Before Jerry, I didn't rate Baptists at all highly. You can try to ignore the God hates fags from Westboro Baptist Church as it's so extreme, but you still hear chats in cafes and you read the news. I had no time for the Baptists who, for me, often use a literal reading of the Bible to bash us. Kids commit suicide because of this stuff.
For all of our lives, we've been looking at the same thing and seeing it through different lenses. And it's like the anthropologist of the 1950s says, we break things into 3 categories: scenery, machinery, and people. We do it with countries, we do it with cities, but we also do it with each other. We keep people out there just as something to look at or something to talk about until we need them, and then we pull them in for our gain. But if we're not willing to make them people, then we keep them as less than human.
At the end of the evening, I gave him a hug and a kiss on the cheek and said, "You can tell your wife you've now kissed the lesbian." And Jerry replied, "And you can tell yours you've kissed the Baptist." This set the tone of our friendship. The magic of the conversation stayed with me for the rest of the conference, and I was itching for more. My life is now divided, before Jerry and after Jerry. This was the night after I'd spoken to him. My spiritual friends relish the blending of our opposing camps. My gay friends are pleased, but seem not quite convinced by my ease with the Baptist, as though I've been fooled and they're waiting till he shows his true colours. But I know that I love him.
So the next day I bought her book and she signed it, and I said, I'm going to need you to talk to my wife and convince her that you're a lesbian, because I can't come home from The Hague with books that say thank you for a wonderful evening. Which made me laugh too, but it opened up a whole new avalanche of what are they going to say, the other people, my people. My wife handled it really well, but traditionally my people are much better at judging a hard situation than they are at interpreting it.
We started to email each other, sharing deep vulnerability of our histories, poles apart, but also lots of points of similarity. Whilst labels can be harmful, by standing in ours, we owned them. We defined our label. This allowed us to be vulnerable and explore without fear.
And our emails broke me because they stirred up memories of this kid who was a good kid, but played smear the queer and tag the fag on the playground. And at 14, wrote a horrible, dehumanizing song about homosexuals that ended in violence.
Our emails have unpacked a lot of subjects, but also only just scratched the surface. We both behave within our own cultural reference points, but there's also a great richness in exploring its cliches. I see the ripples which emanate from my thoughts, and I greatly cherish the exquisite liminal space that now exists between us.
See, for my whole life, I've been afraid of conversations that would break my faith. but this one didn't. And can I just add that maybe if you feel like that if loving someone who sees the world from a different perspective from you breaks your faith, then maybe your faith was cracked to begin with.
My chats with Jerry have strengthened my shamanic spirituality and bond to the Australian desert. Because words are so powerful and permanent, I also had to reflect about my own position before I started to inquire about his. By grasping his faith, it's affirmed mine and inspired me to speak up more for the marginalised.
And there's something rich about this place where conservatives and liberals, people of great faith and people of no faith, hundreds of lovely people and just a few jerks all come together under the banner of a cross-cultural experience. And the potential for mercy is epic.
So, make a friend.
Open an umbrella.
Go deep and get awkward.
Say it wrong and then try again.
Get it right, or don't.
Learn something that you don't know.
See people in a different way.
See yourself and wrestle with that, and if you need to, then say you are sorry.
Forgive and love someone that you didn't used to.
On your mark.
Get set.
Go.
Go.